You are not here by accident. This moment, this connection between us, was divinely orchestrated. The universe has conspired to bring this message to you precisely when you needed it most. That feeling of uncertainty that's been haunting your steps, that hesitation that's been holding you back from your true greatness, it ends today. The very fact that you're listening to these words means you're ready to transform the uncertainty that has been paralyzing your potential into the unstoppable action that will manifest your destiny. The divine power within you has been waiting, patiently, persistently, for you to acknowledge it, to embrace it, and to unleash it. The ancient wisdom tells us, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. These words carry a profound truth, that what you cannot yet see with your physical eyes is already taking form in the invisible realm. Your doubt is not a wall. It is merely a veil waiting to be lifted by the power of your faith. Today we will pierce that veil together. We will transmute your uncertainty into unwavering conviction and your hesitation into decisive action. This transformation isn't just possible. It is inevitable once you understand the divine laws that govern your existence. Throughout the ages, those who have mastered these laws have moved mountains, changed the course of history, and manifested greatness beyond imagination. They weren't born different from you. They simply knew how to harness the unlimited power that already resides within you. As we journey together through this message, you will discover how to silence the voice of doubt, align with the perfect law of prosperity, and step boldly into the magnificent life that is your birthright. The divine within you is stirring, awakening to these truths. Can you feel it? The path to unstoppable action begins with a single step, the step you're taking right now. Know this, everything you need is already within you. The universe isn't testing you, it's inviting you to claim your power. Doubt is not your enemy, it is merely the shadow cast when you stand with your back to the light. Turn around, face the radiance of your own divinity, and watch as the shadows dissolve into nothingness. The transformation begins now. Uncertainty is the great illusion, a mirage in the desert of your mind. It appears real, threatening, substantial. It makes you question your path, your purpose, your very worth. But like all illusions, it dissolves when confronted with the light of truth. The truth is this: the universe operates through perfect law. There is no uncertainty in divine law. Just as gravity never wonders whether to hold you to the earth, the law of cause and effect never wavers in its perfect operation. Your thoughts, infused with feeling, set in motion forces that must, by divine law, materialize in your experience. As a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. This ancient wisdom reveals that your inner world creates your outer reality. When you allow uncertainty to dominate your thoughts, you create more experiences that reflect that uncertainty. But when you plant the seeds of absolute conviction in the fertile soil of your mind, you grow a harvest of corresponding circumstances. Think of the mighty oak tree contained within a tiny acorn. Does the acorn doubt whether it contains everything necessary to become a towering oak? Does it hesitate, wondering if it has what it takes? No, it simply surrenders to the perfect law of growth, allowing the divine blueprint within it to unfold naturally, magnificently. You are no different. Within you lies the seed of greatness, a divine blueprint far grander than you can imagine. Your doubt doesn't change this reality. It merely delays its expression. Consider how water transforms depending on the vessel that contains it. It can be a raging river, a tranquil lake, or a powerful ocean wave. The water itself doesn't change, only its expression changes. Similarly, the divine life force flowing through you is perfect, unlimited, and all-powerful. Your beliefs and thoughts are the vessel that shape how this perfect power expresses through your life. When you find yourself gripped by uncertainty, remember, this is not your natural state. You were born into this world confident, curious, and courageous. Watch a child learning to walk. They fall, rise, and try again without the burden of self-doubt. They don't question whether they're worthy of walking or capable of mastering this skill. They simply persist, driven by an innate knowing that they are meant to walk. This same knowing lives within you now. Beneath the layers of doubt and uncertainty that life may have placed upon you lies the unshakable truth. You were created for greatness. You were designed to thrive. You were meant to take unstoppable action toward your divine purpose. Uncertainty is not reality. It is merely a habit of thought. And like any habit, it can be broken and replaced with a new one. The habit of absolute faith. The habit of unwavering confidence. The habit of decisive action. Your mind may protest, offering evidence of past failures or present limitations. But these are merely scenes from an old script you've been unconsciously following. Today, you begin writing a new script, one where uncertainty has no place, where doubt dissolves in the face of your divine authority. The first step in transforming uncertainty into unstoppable action is recognizing this profound truth. Uncertainty is not an accurate assessment of reality. It is a distorted perception, a fog that obscures the clarity of your divine vision. To dispel this fog, speak this powerful affirmation aloud. Divine wisdom guides my every step. I move forward with perfect confidence, knowing that I am supported by infinite intelligence. Feel these words resonating in every cell of your being. Let them dissolve the illusion of uncertainty and reveal the bedrock of truth upon which you stand. You are a divine being, endowed with unlimited potential, guided by perfect wisdom. The fog is lifting, the path is clearing. The transformation has begun. Faith is the great alchemist of the soul, transforming the lead of uncertainty into the gold of unstoppable action. But true faith is not blind hope or wishful thinking. It is a knowing so deep, so unshakable, that it compels you to act as if your desired outcome is already secured. This is the secret that the great achievers throughout history understood. From inventors who persisted through thousands of failures, to visionaries who saw possibilities where others saw only obstacles. Their faith was not a passive state, but an active force that propelled them forward, despite all evidence to the contrary. Consider the remarkable story of Madam C.J. Walker, born Sarah Breedlove in 1867. The daughter of former slaves, she was orphaned at 7, married at 14, and widowed with a child by 20. Facing a life of poverty and hardship, with every circumstance stacked against her, she could have surrendered to uncertainty and doubt. Instead, something magnificent happened. After experiencing hair loss, she reported having a dream in which a man appeared to her with a formula to grow her hair. She said, "He told me what to mix up for my hair. Some of the remedy was grown in Africa, but I sent for it, mixed it, put it on my scalp, and in a few weeks my hair was coming in faster than it had ever fallen out." This vision, this act of faith, became the foundation of a hair care empire that would make her America's first female self-made millionaire. When she began selling her products, she did not have evidence that she would succeed. She had something far more powerful, unshakable faith in her vision. "I had to make my own living and my own opportunity," she later said. "But I made it." Don't sit down and wait for the opportunities to come. Get up and make them. This is the essence of transforming uncertainty into unstoppable action, not waiting for doubt to dissipate, but moving forward with such conviction that doubt cannot maintain its hold on you. The divine law works with mathematical precision. When you plant a specific seed, you can be certain of the harvest it will yield. Plant corn, and you will not harvest wheat. Plant doubt, and you cannot harvest confidence. Plant decisive action, fueled by unwavering faith, and you must, by divine law, reap the corresponding results. The law of expectancy operates with perfect precision. The game of life is a game of boomerangs. Our thoughts, deeds, and words return to us sooner or later with astounding accuracy. Your expectation is your prophecy. When you expect uncertainty to paralyze you, it will. When you expect your faith to move mountains, it must. To activate this alchemical power of faith, you must first recognize where your attention has been focused. Have you been dwelling on your doubts, feeding them with your mental energy until they've grown into seemingly insurmountable obstacles? Or have you been nurturing the seed of faith, watering it with your consistent attention and expectation? The Bible tells us, "According to your faith, be it unto you." This is not a religious platitude. It is a revelation of divine law. The measure of your faith determines the measure of your manifestation. Not sometimes, not usually, always. Speak this affirmation with conviction. "My faith is unshakable. I trust the perfect law to bring my good to me. I move forward with absolute certainty, knowing that divine power supports my every action." Feel these words not as hopeful statements, but as declarations of immutable truth. The alchemy has begun within you. Your uncertainty is already transforming into the gold of unstoppable action. Remember this: faith without action is incomplete. True faith compels you to move, to take steps, to advance toward your vision, even before you can see the entire path. As you take these steps, the path reveals itself before you, one segment at a time. This is how uncertainty transforms into unstoppable action. Not by waiting until all doubt is gone, but by moving forward in faith until action becomes your new habit, your new normal, your new identity. Life pivots on decisive moments. Those critical junctures when you either surrender to uncertainty or claim your power through unstoppable action. These moments may seem small, even insignificant, but they shape the trajectory of your entire existence. The decision to make that call you've been postponing. The commitment to begin that project you've been dreaming about. The courage to speak that truth you've been holding inside. These are the decisive moments that determine whether you remain trapped in the quicksand of uncertainty or step onto the solid ground of purposeful action. In these moments, the entire universe holds its breath, waiting to see whether you will shrink back in doubt or step forward in faith. And when you choose action, decisive, immediate, unwavering action, you set in motion forces that transform not only your circumstances, but your very identity. Consider the story of Admiral Hyman G. Rickover, known as the father of the nuclear navy. In 1946, he was given an assignment to explore the possibility of nuclear propulsion for naval vessels, something never before accomplished. The uncertainty surrounding such an endeavor was immense. The technical challenges seemed insurmountable. The risks were enormous. Yet in a decisive moment, Rickover committed not just to studying the possibility, but to making it reality. Good ideas are not adopted automatically, he said. They must be driven into practice with courageous impatience. Where others might have proceeded cautiously, hedging their bets and protecting themselves from failure, Rickover took unstoppable action. He demanded the impossible from his team. He challenged conventional thinking. He refused to accept artificial limitations. When faced with bureaucratic obstacles, he found ways around them. When told something couldn't be done, he asked why not, and then proved it could. The result? Just 8 years later, an astonishingly short time for such a revolutionary development, the first nuclear-powered submarine, the USS Nautilus, was launched. Rickover's decisive action in the face of enormous uncertainty changed naval warfare forever and opened new frontiers in peaceful nuclear power applications. This is the power of decisive moments. They don't require you to have all the answers or to be free from all doubt. They simply require you to act as if your success is already assured, because in the divine plan, it is. The Bible reminds us, "Now faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen." Faith is not just believing in what you cannot see. It is giving substance to your vision through decisive action. It is creating evidence of your unseen destiny through your visible choices. When uncertainty clouds your mind, recognize it as a call to action rather than a reason for hesitation. The presence of doubt is merely an invitation to exercise your faith muscle. And like any muscle, your faith grows stronger only when challenged. In your moments of deepest uncertainty, ask yourself, what would I do right now if I had absolute faith in my success? Then do that immediately, without hesitation. This is how you transform uncertainty into unstoppable action. Not by eliminating doubt first, but by acting despite it until action becomes your dominant habit. Speak this powerful affirmation. I am decisive and courageous. I seize the critical moments of my life and transform them through immediate action. My path clears as I advance with unshakable confidence. Every decisive moment you face is a crossroads. One path leads to more of the same, to continued uncertainty and unrealized potential. The other leads to expanded consciousness, increased power, and the fulfillment of your divine purpose. The choice is always yours. Choose action, choose courage, choose to be unstoppable. Perfectionism, the silent saboteur of unstoppable action, it disguises itself as a virtue, as high standards and exceptional quality. But make no mistake, perfectionism is uncertainty wearing a mask of excellence. The perfectionist says, I must get it exactly right before I begin. But the master of unstoppable action understands a profound truth. Perfection is not the prerequisite for action. It is the product of consistent action, refined over time. Consider the masterpieces hanging in the world's great museums. Beneath their perfect surfaces lie layer upon layer of paint, corrections, adjustments, evolutions. The masters didn't wait until they could create perfection with a single stroke. They began, they adjusted, they refined. Their perfection emerged through the process of creation itself. Your life's work, whether in business, art, relationships, or personal growth, follows the same divine pattern. Perfection is not your starting point. It is your journey. And that journey can only unfold through unstoppable action. The scriptures tell us, "Let all things be done decently and in order." This divine guidance is not a call to paralysis through analysis. It is an invitation to bring order to your actions through consistent progress, to create decency through dedicated practice. When perfectionism chains you to inaction, remember, the divine power within you does not demand flawlessness. It requires faithfulness. Faithfulness to your vision. Faithfulness to your purpose. Faithfulness to the process of becoming. There is a profound difference between excellence and perfectionism. Excellence inspires you to give your best and then release the outcome to divine order. Perfectionism demands an impossible standard and then condemns you for falling short. Excellence accelerates your growth. Perfectionism arrests it. Marie Curie, the only person to win Nobel Prizes in 2 different scientific fields, understood this distinction. Working with primitive equipment in challenging conditions, she could have been paralyzed by the impossibility of perfect research conditions. Instead, she recognized that imperfect action was infinitely more powerful than perfect inaction. "One never notices what has been done," she observed. "One can only see what remains to be done." This perspective freed her from the chains of perfectionism. She didn't wait for perfect understanding before taking action. She allowed her understanding to emerge through persistent action. Her discovery of radioactivity and the elements radium and polonium transformed science and medicine. Yet these discoveries would have remained hidden forever had she waited for perfect clarity before beginning her work. This same principle applies to you. Your greatest contributions, your most profound growth, your divine purpose, all remain unrealized when perfectionism keeps you in its grip. The masterpiece of your life cannot be painted if your brush never touches the canvas. To break these chains, speak this affirmation with conviction. I release the need for perfect conditions. I act now, knowing that divine wisdom guides my progress. Through consistent action, my path perfects itself. Feel the liberation in these words. Feel the chains of perfectionism loosening their hold. Perfect action is not what is demanded of you. Faithful action is. Consistent action is. Unstoppable action is. When you find yourself hesitating, waiting for perfect clarity or perfect conditions, recognize this as resistance, wearing the disguise of responsibility. True responsibility lies not in endless preparation, but in beginning where you are, with what you have, trusting the divine process to guide your growth. The most powerful question you can ask yourself is not, "Is this perfect?" but rather, "Is this moving me forward?" Forward movement, however imperfect, activates the divine law of increase. What you consistently do grows in power. What remains undone diminishes in possibility. Break the chains of perfectionism today. Take that imperfect action. Make that imperfect start. Send that imperfect creation into the world. Then watch as the divine law transforms your faithful beginning into something far greater than perfectionism could ever produce. The unstoppable momentum of a life aligned with purpose. There is a divine current flowing through the universe, a continuous stream of creative energy that manifests as unstoppable action. This is not frantic activity or anxious doing. It is purposeful movement aligned with divine law. Observe nature, the rivers flowing to the sea, the planets orbiting the sun, the seasons cycling in perfect order. Nothing in nature hesitates or procrastinates. Nothing in nature is paralyzed by uncertainty. Everything moves in harmony with the divine current of action. You are not separate from this current. You are an expression of it. When you feel most alive, most purposeful, most fulfilled, these are the moments when you're allowing this divine current to flow through you without resistance. Uncertainty blocks this flow. It places dams across the river of your potential. It creates stagnation where movement should be. And stagnant water loses its life-giving properties, just as stagnant potential loses its creative power. Be not afraid, only believe, the scripture tells us. This is not just spiritual advice. It is practical guidance for accessing the divine current of action. Fear and uncertainty constrict the flow. Faith and decisive action expand it. William James, the father of American psychology, recognized this truth when he articulated his influential as-if principle. He discovered that if you want a quality, act as if you already have it. If you want confidence, act as if you're already confident. If you want to be decisive, act as if you're already decisive. This is not pretending or fabricating. It is aligning yourself with the divine current that already flows through you. It is removing the artificial barriers of doubt and hesitation that you've placed in your own path. James put this principle to the test in his own life when facing crippling depression and uncertainty about his future. Instead of waiting until he felt confident before taking action, he made what he called a moral commitment to believe in his own free will. He decided to act as if his actions could make a difference, even when his feelings screamed otherwise. This decision, this alignment with the divine current of action, not only lifted him from depression, but led to groundbreaking work that transformed psychology. His uncertainty didn't disappear before he took action. It dissolved because he took action. The divine current of action flows most powerfully through those who trust it enough to move before all doubt is gone. They understand that certainty isn't the prerequisite for action. It's the product of action aligned with divine purpose. This truth is captured in the affirmation, I am one with the divine current of unstoppable action. As I move, the way clears before me. As I act, my certainty increases. Feel the power in these words. Feel the divine current flowing through you, washing away the debris of doubt, carrying you toward your divine destiny. When you find yourself hesitating, visualize a mighty river. Would it make sense for the river to stop flowing because it couldn't see every twist and turn ahead? Of course not. The river's nature is to flow, and as it flows, it creates its path. Your nature is to act, not from fear or compulsion, but from the divine impulse that flows through you. Trust this impulse. When you feel the urge to create, to speak, to move in a certain direction, this is the divine current seeking expression through you. I invite you to take a powerful step right now. In the comments below, write this affirmation. I am unstoppable action personified. This simple act does something profound. It aligns you with the divine current. It declares to the universe and to your own subconscious mind that you are moving beyond uncertainty into the realm of decisive creation. Writing this affirmation is not just symbolic, it is a concrete expression of faith. It is you choosing to participate in the divine current of action. It is you breaking the dam of uncertainty and allowing your true power to flow. The divine current awaits your participation. It cannot force itself upon you, but it is always available, always flowing, always ready to carry you toward your highest expression. Choose to flow with it today. Choose unstoppable action. There is a seductive lie that uncertainty whispers in your ear, the lie that inaction is safe. That by not deciding, not moving, not risking, you are somehow protecting yourself from failure or loss. This is perhaps the most dangerous illusion of all, the illusion of security in inaction. The truth is stark but liberating. Inaction is the highest risk of all. When you choose not to act, you surrender your power to circumstances, to the actions of others, to the mercy of conditions you did not create and cannot control. Think about it carefully. Has your hesitation ever truly protected you? Or has it merely robbed you of possibilities, of growth, of the very experiences that would have transformed uncertainty into unshakable knowing? The slothful man saith, there is a lion in the way, a lion is in the streets. This ancient wisdom illuminates how we manufacture elaborate justifications for inaction. We imagine lions in our path, insurmountable obstacles, inevitable failures, guaranteed rejections, when in reality, these are merely projections of our own uncertainty. The paradox is profound. What feels safe is actually the most dangerous choice of all. What feels risky, decisive action in the face of uncertainty, is actually your safest path. Consider the story of Katharine Graham, who became publisher of the Washington Post following her husband's suicide. With no training or experience in newspaper management, facing a male-dominated industry that gave her little chance of success, she confronted overwhelming uncertainty. The safe choice would have been to sell the newspaper or defer to male advisors for all decisions. Instead, she chose what appeared risky, taking decisive control, making her own judgments, standing firm even when her decisions were unpopular. Under her leadership, the Washington Post published the Pentagon Papers and broke the Watergate scandal, actions that risked the paper's financial stability and political standing, but ultimately established it as one of the world's great newspapers. Graham later wrote, "To love what you do and feel that it matters, how could anything be more fun?" Her story reveals the truth about risk and security. What appeared risky, taking decisive action despite uncertainty, was actually the path to true security. What appeared safe, avoiding difficult decisions, would have been the riskiest choice of all. This pattern repeats throughout history and will repeat throughout your life. Every time you choose inaction because it feels safe, you're actually choosing the highest risk. Every time you choose action despite your uncertainty, you are choosing the path of true security, the security that comes from exercising your divine power rather than surrendering it. Speak this affirmation with conviction. I recognize the illusion of safety in inaction. My true security lies in decisive action aligned with divine purpose. I act now, claiming my power and my destiny. Feel the shift as these words penetrate your consciousness. The false security of inaction is dissolving. The true security of aligned action is emerging. When uncertainty tempts you to wait, to hesitate, to defer your power to some future moment when all conditions seem perfect, remember, that moment never comes. The perfect moment exists only in one place, right here, right now, in the decision to act despite uncertainty. The divine law operates with perfect precision. Action generates clarity. Clarity does not precede action, it follows it. Every step you take dispels more of the fog of uncertainty. Every decision activates more of your divine wisdom. Your security lies not in avoiding risks, but in becoming the kind of person who can handle whatever comes, the kind of person who transforms challenges into triumphs through unstoppable action. Choose this security. Choose this power. Choose unstoppable action over the illusion of safety in inaction. Now we come to the practical application, the ritual of unstoppable action that will transform your relationship with uncertainty forever. This is not a complicated formula. It does not require special tools or advanced knowledge. It requires only your commitment to a new way of being, a way that honors the divine impulse to create through decisive action. First, recognize that unstoppable action begins in the first moments of your day. The way you start determines the way you continue. Create a morning ritual that affirms your identity as a person of decisive action. Speak these words as you rise. Divine wisdom guides my every step today. I move with perfect confidence, knowing that the universe conspires for my highest good. Uncertainty holds no power over me. I am unstoppable action personified. Feel these words resonating in your being. They are not mere affirmations, they are declarations of your true identity. Second, identify one action each day that you've been postponing due to uncertainty. It could be a phone call you've been avoiding, a project you've been delaying, a conversation you've been dreading. Commit to taking this action before noon, not when you feel ready, not when uncertainty has subsided, but simply because you've committed to it. This practice builds your action muscle. It demonstrates to your subconscious mind that uncertainty is not a valid reason for inaction. It proves that you can move despite doubt, and in doing so, you dissolve doubt's power over you. Third, celebrate each action taken, not just the outcomes, but the actions themselves. When you make that call, acknowledge your courage. When you start that project, honor your initiative. When you have that conversation, recognize your commitment to growth. This celebration reinforces the neural pathways of decisive action. What you celebrate, you replicate. What you acknowledge grows in power. Fourth, surround yourself with symbols of unstoppable action. Create visual reminders of your commitment to move beyond uncertainty. It could be as simple as a stone on your desk that represents the solid foundation of your faith. It could be an image that inspires you to take bold action. It could be a word or phrase that triggers your commitment to decisive movement. These symbols speak to your subconscious mind throughout the day, reinforcing your new identity as a person of unstoppable action. Fifth, practice the art of immediate response. When divine inspiration strikes, when you feel the impulse to create, to speak, to move in a certain direction, respond immediately. Don't analyze it to death. Don't wait for confirmation from others. Don't delay until uncertainty subsides. The divine speaks in whispers, in gentle nudges, in subtle promptings. When you respond swiftly to these communications, you strengthen the connection. You become a clearer channel for divine guidance. Delayed response weakens the signal. Immediate action amplifies it. Finally, end each day with reflection and gratitude. Review the actions you've taken, not with judgment, but with appreciation for your growing capacity to move beyond uncertainty. Give thanks for the divine wisdom that guides you, for the strength that sustains you, for the courage that propels you forward. This gratitude completes the circle, preparing you for even greater expressions of unstoppable action tomorrow. Remember this ancient wisdom. Fear is man's only adversary, not external circumstances, not other people's opinions, not past failures or future unknowns. Fear alone and its offspring, uncertainty, stands between you and your divine destiny. The ritual of unstoppable action dissolves this fear. It replaces uncertainty with unshakable knowing. It transforms hesitation into decisive movement. It aligns you with the divine current that has been flowing through you all along, waiting only for your conscious participation. Begin this ritual today. Not tomorrow when conditions seem better. Not next week when your schedule clears. Not someday when uncertainty has mysteriously vanished. Today, right now, in this divine moment of opportunity. Your transformation from uncertainty to unstoppable action has already begun. The mere fact that you've received these words confirms it. The divine law is already in operation, already bringing you every resource, every opportunity, every insight you need to claim your power and fulfill your purpose. Trust this law, act in alignment with it, become unstoppable. We arrive now at the culmination of our journey, the recognition of your greatest power, the power of decision. Decision comes from Latin roots meaning to cut off. When you truly decide, you cut off all other possibilities. You eliminate the escape routes of hesitation and delay. You burn the bridges of uncertainty and commit yourself fully to your chosen path. This is the moment when transformation becomes inevitable. Not when uncertainty disappears. It rarely does before action, but when your decision becomes stronger than your doubt. Choose you this day whom you will serve, the scripture commands. This is practical wisdom for transforming uncertainty into unstoppable action. You must choose, decisively, irreversibly, whether you will serve the false god of uncertainty or the true power of divine action working through you. Every master of manifestation throughout history has understood this truth. They did not manifest their visions because they were free from doubt. They manifested because they decided that their commitment would be stronger than their uncertainty. Thomas Edison famously said, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work." This wasn't positive thinking or naive optimism. It was the unstoppable momentum of a man who had decided, truly decided, that he would succeed. His uncertainty about specific methods never undermined his absolute certainty about his ultimate outcome. This is the power available to you right now. Not the power to eliminate all doubt, but the far greater power to act despite doubt. Not the ability to see the entire path, but the commitment to take the next step regardless. When you exercise this power of decision, something miraculous happens. The universe responds. Doors open that were previously invisible. Resources appear that were previously unavailable. Synchronicities multiply. Divine timing activates. This is divine law in operation. Commit thy works unto the Lord, and thy thoughts shall be established. First comes commitment, decisive action despite uncertainty. Then comes clarity, thoughts established, direction confirmed, vision crystallized. Most people have this backwards. They wait for established thoughts, for perfect clarity, before they commit their works. And so they wait forever, trapped in the limbo of uncertainty, their divine potential unrealized. You know better now. You understand the sequence. Decision first, then clarity. Commitment first, then confirmation. Action first, then certainty. Speak this affirmation with absolute conviction. I am a decisive being, aligned with divine power. I cut off all hesitation and delay. I commit fully to my chosen path. Through my decision, all things become possible. Feel the surge of power as these words penetrate your consciousness. This is not just positive self-talk. It is you claiming your divine birthright as a creator in this universe. The moment of decision is the moment of destiny. Not someday in the distant future, but right now as you absorb these words. Will you continue to serve uncertainty, to bow before doubt, to sacrifice your divine potential on the altar of hesitation? Or will you decide, truly decide, to become unstoppable action personified? The choice is yours. It has always been yours. The universe awaits your decision. Know this truth. You were born for greatness. You were designed for magnificent achievement. You were created to transform the invisible into the visible through unstoppable action. The divine within you is not uncertain. The divine within you does not hesitate or procrastinate or make excuses. The divine within you is, by its very nature, unstoppable creative power in motion. Claim this identity now. Step into this power now. Make your decision now. Transform uncertainty into unstoppable action, not as a temporary strategy but as your permanent way of being. Let this be the moment when everything changes, when you finally release the handbrake of doubt and accelerate toward your divine destiny with unstoppable momentum. The transformation is complete. The power is yours. The time is now.